When the world is heading towards recession in 2020, can India become the next superpower while its unemployment and inflation are on the rise? Let's find out here. In 1991, when the Soviet Union collapsed, India opened its doors to the world's economies. As India was the major trade partner for the Soviet Union, India was having a closed-door trading after its independence from Great Britain in 1947. This is why everything changed and started to play well for India. The Western countries started to come in with foreign investment with the help of the IMF and the World Bank of India. India became one of the biggest contributors to the 90s economic revolution. India went on to get a huge change, which includes reduction of import tariff, reduction of taxes, deregulation of markets, and foreign direct investments. The liberation in the 90s credited India's economy to skyrocket from 1990s to 2000s. Before 2015, India's GDP went at a slower pace behind China. But in the same year, India surpasses China as the world's fastest-growing economy from 2005 to 2012. Lots of foreign investment started to pour in. Companies like Microsoft, Siemens, Motorola, Foxconn, Nokia, Samsung, Vodafone, Google, Amazon, MTS, Uninor, big automobile companies, and the FDI investment in infrastructure development. The average annual rate has grown by 3.5% from 1950 to 1980 and 7.7% from 2002 to 2012. The annual rate peaked at 9.5% from 2005 to 2008. India's per capita also increased from $2,455 in 1978, $3,042 in 2005, $3,900 in 2012. Jobs in technology and business sector boomed. Many new Indian companies were born, like Flipkart, Go Air, Indigo, Kingfisher, Snapdeal, Ola, Infobeam, Mahindra & Mahindra, Infosys, Idea Cellular, Aditya Group, Big Bazaar, Zomato, Zwiggy, and many BPO companies. Despite so many red tapes removed, many foreign companies came in and many Indian companies were born. Still, unemployment was rising by 2.5% yearly. Indian states like Gujarat, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka were contributing most to the Indian economic growth and jobs. In the other states of India, they were not attracting many investments. That was the time the world economy was hit with the recession in 2008 and 2009. The US, Europe, and China were struggling, and India was surviving. The FDI inflow in 2007 to 2008 was $24 billion. 2008 to 2009 was $35 billion and proceeding. The Indian government in 2012 loosened the FDI rules by 51% in the retail multi-brand outlet, and in 2019, FDI in the retail outlet has become 100%. After 2013, India saw the growth in all sectors after the 2008 and 2009 recession, thanks to the former Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. Later, the Indian government changed in 2014. Mr. Narendra Modi took office as PM of India with the promise of making India glorious. India was going on the right track to become the fastest growing economy in the world, and that happened in 2015. The economists around the world started to predict that India will become a superpower within 10 years to 20 years behind the US and China. After 2015, then came the Chinese companies like Oppo, Vivo, Xiaomi, Tencent, Alibaba, Huawei, Chinese banks with investment in Indian companies like Paytm, Zomato, and Zwiggy, and In 2016, something big happened, which India still didn't recover from it. The Indian government demonetized its high-value currency, which created panic among the Indians. Investment dropped, 85% of the cash flow was stopped, inflation started to rise, India falls far behind China, and India lost its fastest-growing economic status. While still, India is recovering from the biggest economic downfall, flawed taxation called GST, which moved its economy into jeopardy. Traders were not happy, and the foreign investment started to pull all the money out of India. Many Indian companies started to go bankrupt. Unemployment spiked to the highest in Indian history. Unemployment started rising by 41%. The Indian government started to put higher taxes on businesses, small businesses, online traders, and infrastructures, which made many of the companies and businesses to go out of business. After 2013, 3/4 of Indian and the foreign companies which started before 10 years in India were gone. Even after 2018, India was still losing its GDP growth rate gradually to 4.5%, which India should have achieved a GDP growth of 7.5%. While the crude oil prices were rising, USA-China trade war, India, China, and the US are going under protectionist taxation policies. World went into lockdown. India-China border fight. India has so much catching up to do. The world economy started to shatter more. India's unemployment going into the lifetime highest. No companies coming in, with FDI inflows reduced very much. India's dream of becoming a superpower is now not on the agenda. But India sorts out its mistakes slowly, but it has a long way to catch up with its dream of becoming a superpower. In June and July of 2020, India banned Chinese businesses in India, which have paved the way for Western countries to start a business now in India. Companies like Apple coming in. Foxconn is expanding in India. We have to wait and watch how India growth goes. As for the past 6 years, new taxation is levied on new foreign companies like Amazon India and Walmart-owned Flipkart, or on local startups, which makes them struggle to grow and invest, which means fewer jobs and less growth. Because of this, many FDI and foreign companies shying away from India to Vietnam and Bangladesh. India has to help these companies to give jobs to Indians instead of leaving high taxes on them. What do you think? Can India become a superpower as predicted by 2030 or 2040? Will India's high taxation on local and foreign businesses go away well?